Hey guys, so you've all heard the controversy about Disney's upcoming live action movie Snow White arriving in cinemas in March 2024. Well, we're going to give you guys our thoughts on it and I guess have a bit of a rant if I'm being honest, maybe. So let's get going. But before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts on the Snow White controversy. So, for anyone who has no clue what's going on, let me catch you up to speed because there's a lot.
Hmm.
So the actress playing Snow White, Rachel Zegler, has made a few, maybe let's say some comments about Snow White because it was a bit more than a few. And there are also some other things as well that has made this movie that isn't out until next year already controversial. So Rachel, in an interview with Variety, I think it was last year, she said it's no longer 1937. She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. And then in another interview with Extra TV, she says the original cartoon came out in 1937 and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. So she literally calls that part of the story like weird and said that they didn't do that this time. And then with Entertainment Weekly, she said that she's only watched Snow White once before getting the role of Snow White. And then also we've heard that the movie has removed the dwarves and replaced them with a diverse group of friends now called magical creatures, I think. So yeah, I think that's everything to catch you guys up on speed. I probably have missed some other stuff as well, but that is basically where this is where the bulk of the controversy
Yeah.
is at. So yeah,
Oh God.
there's a lot in that I've just said in what, like a couple of minutes or something. Yeah, so I got all of this from I did do my research. I didn't want to just put out facts and stuff just from like social media and stuff because sometimes they are fake. But these are interviews that she's either given or these are stuff from articles and stuff. So they're all from established sources. I can say maybe. So yeah, Grace. Initially, from hearing all of that, do you want to go first or
Yeah, I
yeah?
think it's it's gonna be a poison apple, this film. Like it's gonna be dead before it's even gonna come back alive. No offense. But yeah. I just think what the actress is missing is like the basic origin of this film. Like we know Snow White, it's not very a modern film, but back in the day, Walt Disney wasn't trying to give a story about like heroism or like trying to do like right trying to create and like a good story art. It was all about giving a good story, but through like a different style. Because that was the first full length film that was made in animation, and that was a big hit back in the day. It was amazing. It was phenomenal. No one has seen it before, and I think that was that's what's the start of Disney. Disney itself. That's the start of the company, and I just hate that the actress can't see that, or like she joked about it, which is pretty pretty disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of things. I mean, first of all, Snow White has never been like one of my favorite Disney movies. So, like when I heard about it, I wasn't very excited about it to begin with. I mean, I've already just been really so tired out and washed out about all of these live actions that after watching The Little Mermaid. Yeah, there's a debate that will be coming out about that at some point, guys. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about Snow White. So yeah, already I wasn't feeling very hyped about it. And then I heard about this controversy and all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, maybe rightly so. Um, I've heard a lot of stuff. So I guess the first thing I want to say is like, does she actually does Rachel actually deserve all of this hate? I
Mm,
I kind of see why people were thinking that it's her because she's like saying she's basically telling us all the stuff that they changed in the script, and I don't think she probably had a very big part in like writing the script or developing it. But what I really didn't like is what she kind of like what she said about the animated version, the 1937, the classic version. That's what I didn't really like, because I can understand all of the other stuff. Like she said, like she's not going to be saved by the prince, all that stuff. I can understand that because that's not her idea. I mean, she probably agrees with it, but that's a different thing. But that's not from her. That's the creative side of it. That's what Disney wanted to do in their script. So that's not her. But what I didn't like was the fact that she put down the 1937 animated movie. Like, sure, it's not one of my favorites, but I just like Grace was saying, like Grace explained it really well, but that is like the first movie that Disney did, and without that, Disney wouldn't have got to the place that they were. All of these movies that we've seen, all these stuff that we've grown to love, whether that's Toy Story, whether that's
The Lion
Tangled or
King.
Frozen, Lion King, none of that would have happened. So all of it, like everything adds on to each other. It's all part of the history. And like it's not even like Disney stuff, it's also like Marvel stuff, Star Wars stuff, like all of that stuff. Like it would
Yeah.
have maybe been completely different from what we actually have grown to love. So the fact she said all that kind of stuff, like putting down the 1937 animated version, was just really horrible, and it wasn't really nice, because loads of people definitely took time to create that amazing movie for that time. Like it was so iconic, and it's definitely lived on to be like, a pure gem. I mean, I know there's a lot of things wrong with the movie as well. I mean, we talked about that in Is Snow White a Bad Role Model? I mean, we've talked about that, because there are stuff that she does do that are a bit sketchy, and stuff that we wouldn't agree with. But again, you got to think, like, they were really trying to stick to the fairy tale, and that was pretty much the fairy tale.
Yeah.
But there was also good elements about it as well. Like Snow White is not just a bad role model. She's kind, she's brave, she's there's
Yeah.
good stuff as well. As much as there are issues with it, like there's no reason to just completely put it down. Like this is, I think
Mm.
this is like the worst thing that she could have ever have said. And the fact that
Yeah.
she applied to be cast, like to be Snow White, after just watching the movie once, like, and like, I like, she's not even a fan. Like I'm sure there's so many other actresses who would have preferred to have had that role, who could have done a better job. I mean, I can't really judge because I haven't seen the movie.
Mm.
But I'm sure the passion that Rachel given her performance is definitely not going to be there, because she's definitely already doesn't really she already thinks really poorly of the original.
Yeah.
And so does she deserve all this hate? No, but she deserves hate for all the stuff she was saying about the 1937 version. Like there's no
Yeah.
reason to put down something. Like she would not be able to do this live action if they hadn't done that
Yeah.
animated movie. Like that wouldn't have been possible. And also the fact that I've also heard that, because she was in Shazam too, I've also heard that in interviews and stuff. I mean, I'm not sure if this is true. I wasn't able to check this, but I've heard that she was putting down the movie. She was like saying, "Oh yeah, I only applied for that role because I was out of a job. It was a pandemic. I was just looking for a role, so I was just gonna try and get anything." Like stuff like that. You just don't say that. You don't.
No,
Even if it's true, you don't say that. It's like you're basically just saying, "Oh hey, I just applied for whatever. Like who
yeah,
cares? I
like you
don't
just
even
did
care
it
about the
for
project."
money. I mean,
Exactly. We
eh,
know you guys do that. You don't need to say that. That's so
yeah.
horrible, because all those people that took time to develop that movie and stuff, like you're just basically turning around and just going, "Hey, who cares? I just did my part and that's it."
I was gonna ask, like, what do you hope not to see in the remake? Like, what do you think?
uh, I I don't even know. I don't think I'm even gonna go watch this, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it either.
I think I'm just gonna wait till it comes out on Disney Plus or something,
Mm,
because
yeah.
I
Also,
don't I
the
don't think it's worth
costumes
it.
don't look so
Yeah.
good. Well, like, I know they're trying to say with the original, but I feel like they should try to update a bit more. Like Beauty and the Beast, Belle's dress was gorgeous. Snow White, I mean Cinderella's dress, that was glamorous. That was the best dress ever in live action. I hope they can like update the costumes in this film. Definitely. I wonder what the evil queen's gonna look like. Just gonna be dark purple and gloomy. And I understand that like nowadays in these live action films, all the female leads are having less love interest, or they're having more like more leader role, and I think that's good. I mean, I understand they're giving them a more better lead, better journey, self-discovery. But then I feel like they're redoing the cliche that love is a stereotype for women to find true love, and it's not. I mean, love is real, and there's no shame for a woman to find that in a film. So yeah, Snow White has a love at first sight thing with a prince who didn't really have much of a character. But in this, they could give him more of a character, and they could create like a more realistic and more natural love, like they did with like Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaid. Like all those characters had true love in them, and I don't get why they can't do that in Snow White. So
I absolutely love rom-coms and stuff. I'm a huge fan of them. So when I heard Rachel say that they were sort of like taking love of the equation, I'm like my number one criticism for Disney was that they have literally just stayed away from these love stories. I understand, like, the whole love at first sight and all that stuff, like, that there are all these like negative stuff about all of this stuff, but to just take love out of the whole movie, like
yeah.
it's not even Snow White then. Like I think she literally said that there's not even going to be a prince in this movie. There's a guy, I think the actor's called like Andrew or something, and he's going to be
But
playing
yeah, I
South
think the
Governor
characters is
or
called like
something.
Jonathan, I think.
Like yeah, he's not even going to be the prince. So they've
No.
completely taken the prince out of the equation. So like it's just and she literally said, I'm pretty sure I heard in the interview, she literally said, "Oh, Andrew's part might be actually be in the movie, but they might actually just cut it out. It's Hollywood. Who knows?" I'm pretty sure that's
Oh,
literally what she said. I was just like, "Girl, why are you digging yourself dig a deeper grave? Like, what are you doing?" Like, so
mm,
yeah, I'm absolutely not a fan of that. I feel like I can understand like they basically met like in the original in the animated version like they met and then it's sort of like she pines away for him and they don't really know each other. I get all of that, but it's just a movie. I didn't know
yeah.
if you guys knew, but it is a movie. So this is also a movie, so like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
what I would have liked to have seen, like just in general from a live action Snow White, I would have liked to have seen like a build up of a relationship between Snow and the prince. Like perhaps they knew each other when they were young kids,
Mm,
and then the evil queen took over the kingdom. His royal family stopped visiting, and then they meet by chance. He hears her singing while she's working around the castle. They're reunited. They discover that they actually have feelings for each other, and the story goes on. Like it basically follows on the same, but there's also other changes. Like I feel like that's what they could have done. Like just developed the relationship and actually made it. Just pulled it out a bit more, like gave
yeah.
it a bit more meaning and background. Like that's what
Yeah.
I would have liked. I mean, I don't know if they would have done that or something, but that's
Yeah.
one of my ideas anyway.
Mm.
Yeah.
I had a similar idea to that, though my one is sort of I kind of had like a little Anastasia like story idea linked to it. So when I was just thinking, sort of like the beginning for you, but like forget the prince sort of thing. So if this new love interest, if he wasn't the prince, I think his name is Jonathan, but let's put him for aside for now. So I was thinking, because I know in the original, I think the evil queen tried to kill Snow White when she was like 7 or something. I don't know. But imagine if like a young Snow White runs away and she meets the 7 dwarfs and then she lives with them for like years. I would like to see a relationship between her and the dwarfs, like maybe like kind of like Soph, like in Mamma Mia, Sophie and her dad's like having father figures in her life, and like Gojo actually have a family, and then she meets Jonathan, maybe he's close to like a village or something, and then she has maybe he discovers she's a princess, and he knows like he's a village boy and they can't be together because royalty village, and that's what I was kind of thinking, and then I don't know, just something different and a bit more like you said, like build up with relationships, not just for love, maybe father and daughter, because I don't know, we see like a lot of we don't see much parent-child relationships. Like we saw a bit in Cinderella, we saw a bit more in Beauty and the Beast with Belle and her dad, and we see a little bit more in The Little Mermaid and Mulan with her family. So I don't know. I was kind of hoping we get to see, like, if they did include all the seven dwarfs, I was hoping like to see like Snow White, like from being lonely and being very self-isolated from her stepmother, and then she became a part of like this, from like a small family, like a family she never had, and I don't know, something else. Like you don't have to be family by blood. You could be family by being adopted, or because, and it would be interesting to get more backstory of the seven dwarfs. Like, are they brothers or they're just like friends? And how did they came up with the names? If they do that, that would be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. A bit more um development in relationships, not just love, but family as well. That's what I was kind of hoping. But yeah. Yeah, and can we talk about the diversity in this
Mm-hmm.
film? Like,
Mm-hmm. Should we start with
um,
Snow White first?
yeah, okay. I seen this actress in West Side Story, and she's gorgeous and she has a beautiful voice, and I think she could do a really good Snow White. And I'm not saying, like, some people say, yeah, but it's based in German, so like just she doesn't really like she can't fit in because she's Latino, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
She's yeah. So and I get like she's saying like people saying like, oh, why can't she be Snow White? And I'm like, well, it's just it's part of the character. Like Snow White is meant to be described as she's her skin is as white as snow, hair's black as night. I mean, it just had to fit with the description. And I get it, like people like they are trying different diversity. Like if you've seen the Little Mermaid, they cast a black actress for the Little Mermaid, but that was fine because it's underwater. It's magical. That the mermaid could literally be anyone, to be honest. So for this, I'm not trying to be like biased and saying like she couldn't like do this role great because I think she would. I think she could really do a great Snow White with her singing and acting. But I don't know. I just feel like you just need to think about like the right background. You just got to think about like the world that is based in, like what this film is based in. Like it's based in like medieval times, or is it based like in Victorian times? Like different people, different. And I know people are trying to, and I agree. I think there should be like the like different people, like from different ethnic backgrounds that should be in it because that's great. I feel bad saying this, like coming from me, but there's a mix. I'm feeling a little bit mixed about the main character,
Mm-hmm.
and also for the queen as well, because again, who's the actress?
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, she's a great actress as well. I've seen her in Wonder Woman. She's great as well. Again, you just have to think, does it fit with with the right background of the story, the origin of the story? Emily, what are your thoughts on the main leads?
Mm-hmm. So I originally didn't give it much thought. I was just like, yeah, Disney are just doing this all the time. Like it's just, they're I'm gonna talk about that a bit later. And then it's only when I started really thinking about it, like like Grace said, like her face was as pale as white as snow or something like that. Whatever the line is. Like, I'm sorry, this actress isn't like, I mean, I'm not being rude or anything, but
Yeah,
it
yeah, we're
isn't.
not
It just isn't. Like, it's like, but my issue with this is that I really hate them doing all this whole like, putting different ethnicities as these lead princesses, because what I would prefer is to have this standout princess for her own story or something. Like you just
like.
just don't do this. Like all like different cultures and stuff, like they have their own stories and stuff. Like you could make these stories so amazing and like bring them to life by doing that. And so keeping in their culture as well. And that would just, give us something else. And also there's not going to be that, oh well, she should have been played by a white actress or this or that. Like
Yeah,
it just makes more sense. Like there's all these
yeah,
amazing fairy tales of different cultures and stuff, like different stories and stuff, and they could bring these out and they could make them amazing, and they could do that, but instead they just think, oh well, let's just take the easy route. Let's just make Snow White a Latina all of a sudden or something. Like,
Mm.
I mean, I've got nothing against that. Well, I do, I guess. I've said that, but like I don't know how to explain it. But what I'm trying to say is
Like,
that I feel like the way they're approaching it is just the easy way. Like they could definitely just make this out and make it a bit more harder for themselves and actually just, come up with a new story and stuff. But then also I get the whole idea about her being a Latina because this is not even Snow White. At the
mm,
end of the day, from everything that she said, this is not even Snow White, the fairy tale Snow White. So like, why would they keep that?
yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, from the settings of the photographs, this doesn't feel like a Snow White. This feels like a more of a Red Riding Hood sort of thing. If you've seen the photos, they're completely gone off film now. Like they went to a different story for God knows reason. Should we talk about the dwarf
Yeah,
situation?
yeah.
Okay.
Situation.
When
I
I
love that.
heard yeah, when I heard about what the actor Peter Dinklage, is that how you pronounce his surname?
Dinklage, I think.
Dinklage. Oh wait, Peter Dinklage. Sorry, guys. Yeah. When he told us about like we're going backwards on this film, I had I mean I can see from his point of view, but I feel like this isn't like the kind of film that is trying to portray dwarves as mythical creatures, like not like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. Like they were portraying like dwarfs as like magical creatures. For this, they're just like Snow White is basically about a young girl who met seven men or dwarfs, like men with dwarfism, and like they were just portraying them as like just ordinary human beings, and I don't see like the like what was wrong with that. Like I remember seeing something on This Morning, I think, about like two dwarfs. One is saying they should include dwarfs, and one saying they shouldn't because it's the reason why they shouldn't is that they're increasing they're furthering like the proof that dwarfs are mythical creatures, so like young kids who probably don't understand. But the other person was saying that like they should like so dwarfs because I also remember someone saying like if you're not gonna use dwarves, then you're not gonna like there's lots of good actors who are dwarves, and I feel like this is their chance to shine in a way. And uh, I do get like from a certain point of view, like you're like you might give the wrong message to some people, but at the same time, like when I saw like on the set about like one dwarf and like seven other people, I'm like, this isn't the story. This is not the Snow White I remember, because the dwarfs were the main stars. They were they also started Disney as well. Like Silly Song, they were heroes. They basically saved Snow White in a way, and they took care of her. I mean, what's wrong with portraying them as live action? So I don't understand why you have to change them all. And I've also seen something else on like the Total magazine I've read today, and they saw like if you've seen the Wonka trailer where uh I forgot the actor's name, but he's doing it in Palumpa, and then
Hugh
there was
Grant.
something. Yeah, there was a quote from a dwarf actor, and he said, you're giving us a low chance to star in films," and I think that is true. Like, there's nothing wrong hiring actual dwarfs to star in their own films. So yeah, I did have mixed feelings, but now I'm feeling like I'm thinking that they should have stick with the dwarfs because they were the main stars and they were the heroes, not seven strangers that we have no clue who they are. Seven good-hearted and heroic dwarfs.
Yeah, I mean, I can like you said, I can see both sides. Like I can see like, kids bullying people with dwarfism and like saying like, like, oh, like, there could be like negative stereotypes and negative connotations taken from Disney movies. I
Mm.
completely understand that. But I can also see the other side. Like I haven't read the fairy tale, so I don't actually know the original one written by the Grimm brothers. But from what I thought, I understood that um they weren't suffering from dwarfism. I thought they were actually just like creatures. Like how in Lord of the Rings they're actually like a creature. Like
Mm.
you've got elves and then you've got dwarves. Like a sort of same thing here. We've got humans, Snow White, and then we've got dwarves who are like a whole different like mythological creature or something. So they're completely separate, and so they aren't actually supposed to be. But I can see why there is an issue with that. But it it's really tough because like if you don't do that, then you're like taking them out of the equation, and they're also not having that time. Like people who are suffering from dwarfism, they're
Mm.
not getting that chance to actually like act and stuff. But I can also understand like, hey, they might not want to because it's reinforcing stereotypes, and also it's sort of like,
Yeah.
hey, you can only play this role because it's all about dwarves. So I can see both sides. It makes sense. But at the same time, like from the fairy tale, from what I actually found out was that the dwarves actually did originally like play such a big role. Like like I think there were like three times that Snow White was like tricked by the evil queen. Like, it was like she was like trying to find ways to like harm
Kill
Snow White, let's say, kill her, yeah, harm her. And every single time, like the dwarves actually came in and rescued her, they helped her. And so this was the perfect chance for Disney to like go, hey, these dwarves are amazing. They
Mm.
are absolute saviors. They are there to
Yeah.
help Snow White. They aren't there just to make fun of people with dwarfism. They are actually there to help. So yeah, I can see both sides. I'm a bit mixed in that. Like I don't I can see both sides. And I guess it's a bit hard because you're at one point you're taking away a whole community, but at the same time you're also yeah, I don't know. But I'm a bit mixed about
Yeah.
this one. I don't think there was a
Yeah.
way that Disney was gonna be able to make everyone happy about this.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
I feel like in this live action remake, they could have like, I don't know, maybe like improve it. Like again, because like you said, in the Grimm stories, they were portrayed as like magical creatures. But when I was young, little, when I first watched Snow White, I didn't see the dwarves as magical creatures. I just thought to myself, oh, they were short men. I never knew that. So, but I just accept that. I just think like the humans, because there was nothing magical about them. They were just ordinary people. So I think this was sort of like a chance for like Disney, maybe not just for like to show like feminism, but also show like dwarfs are like the heroes or like they're just ordinary people and just treat them as such. Just treat them as you would treat someone else, other people. So I don't know. I just feel like I agree with Emily because like some will find it offensive, but also you because that's when Disney said they explained the story to like the dwarfism community or something, and they actually supported them. I think until Peter kind of backfires on Disney. So I'm not sure what happened to that kind of like agreement or like that permission with the community. So I'm not sure.
I heard it the other way around, but I'm not sure. I mean, I mean, who knows? I heard it that after Peter gave his comments that they consulted with the community. That's what I heard, but I don't know. It, I mean, I hope they would have done it both times anyway, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
like I mean, we can't take this from my experience from like average height, but it's just a mixture really, and while I think that was sort of it, but there's also a thing about like changing a lot about the characters as well. Like the Queen is getting a song and dance now, so I'm not sure how I feel about this to be honest, because if they were gonna do that to Lady Tremaine, I cannot see that. If they were gonna do to Maleficent, I cannot see that. This is meant to be, and she's basically called the evil queen, meant to be evil. I can't see her doing like a jolly dance about like, oh, I killed my stepdaughter, hurrah. It's 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 just something like if she has a song, fine. Do like an eerie, creepy song like Mother Gothel or like um I don't know, Hellfire or just something that blooms her evilness or something. That's a weird way to put it. But yeah, I can't see her dancing.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, that's our talk about the little discussion about Snow White live action. Is it going to be okay, or is it going to bomb at the box office? Because we think it's going to bomb hard and yeah, die off. So yeah, tell us, guys, your thoughts about the film. Whether you think, do you agree about the fine casting? Do you agree on like about including all the seven dwarfs? And what do you think about this new or not new or no love interest? Do you think we should include a bit of a rom-com, or do you think it's fine as it is? Tell us all down in the comments. Before you leave, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And check our other reviews on Disney films. We also done Marvel. We done so many, guys. Check them all out. We also done some certain rom-coms Emily's done in the past, and a little bit of me within them. We've done Never Been Kiss. We done While You Were Sleeping, and Emily's also done Sweet Home Alabama. Check them all out, guys. They're really good. And you can check our social accounts. We're on Instagram and Twitter. If you follow us, we will definitely follow you back. That's a promise. Check out the website Emily's Made For Us. It's about the debate hut and about some of the videos we've done in the past and a bit of information about everything. So yeah, that's all. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.